Alright, decided to get a quick stream in right quick. As you guys know, I'm about to leave town. Well, I told some people I'm going to leave town. I'm going to the East Coast for a couple of days. I got a couple of days off, so I decided to take a mini vacation, even though where I'm going is going to be on lockdown, but that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. So, I decided to do a little stream on my way to the airport, so that's cool. Now, let me talk about the NBA right quick, and then I'll get to boxing. I'm going to get to Bud, of course, since he seemed to be the big story. Wilder basically telling, the WBC and they goofball new weight class to basically thanks but no thanks. And then I'm going to talk Canelo once again, taking another fight that nobody cares about. And, why is he continuing to get away with fighting the type of people that he's fought? But nevertheless, let me start with the NBA. All right, quick thoughts on the James Harden. Now, from what the reports are saying, that Houston has agreed in principle to trade, to trade James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving on the same team. Will that work? Well, you got two dudes that have to play with the ball in their hands, that basically have to occupy the ball a lot. Because, James Harden has always been an in-betweener, more two than one, but he does need to have the ball a lot. So you have to wonder, okay, if Kyrie is the primary ball handler, can James Harden play off the ball, freelance, become a spot-up shooter and have his shot set up for him? So that's what you have to wonder, because both of them is two ball-dominated guards, so you kind of wonder would that work. Now, Kevin Durant is going to be Kevin Durant because he's just that damn good. And, Kevin Durant is official. You can't take that away from him. For this dude to be a 6'11" hybrid, once-in-a-lifetime player, a guy that could be a center, but moves like a two guard, you just probably ain't gonna see nothing like that in your lifetime, not for a while. I wish he would have stayed with the Warriors, but hey, he gave me 2 extra championships, so I'm good. Hey, fine with me. Now, I'm gonna talk about Klay Thompson. I don't know who the Warriors will draft or have they drafted yet. I know the draft is just beginning, so I don't know if the Warriors have picked yet. Let me know who the Warriors picked. Hey, what's going on? So, I don't know who they picked. I'll talk about that later. Probably by the time I get to the airport, the Warriors will have picked the person, who they going to pick. Now, the question is, what are they going to do with the pick due to the fact that Klay Thompson is hurt again? But they haven't said how bad Klay is hurt. So I do think we need to wait, as, the Mayonnaise Nation used to say, wait till the facts come out. So let's wait till we hear what's going on with Klay before we start to push the panic button. But depending on what the Warriors do in the draft, now if they draft a player similar to Klay Thompson, then it might be some room for concern. If they don't, then who knows? But due to the fact that Klay Thompson is hurt again, he got the Achilles on the left leg, then he got the injury to the right leg, so he's hurt both of his legs. So now you have to wonder how much time has been taken off Klay Thompson's career. He already lost a year of his career pretty much, last year in the finals. Now, the season was set to start in December. This is why they should have started the season in January. But, it is what it is, man. They should have started the season the beginning of January, because basically these draft picks right away. Okay. All right, I'll talk about that later. So, with that being said, we need to wait and see what the Warriors gonna do. Yeah, that's who certain people wanted Bob Myers to pick. So I like that pick. I like that pick. I like that pick. Because they gonna keep him, we'll see. So I like that pick. I like that pick. So, yeah, with that being said, man, nah, it's a real good pick. It's a real good pick. Like I said, is they gonna keep him is what I wonder. Well, here's the thing though. You draft what you need. If the best player in the draft is a center and you already got a good center, then it's that pick. You draft what you need. Like, let's just say you need a significant point guard. You draft the best point guard available. You draft the best forward that's available. You draft the best. So I'm one of them kind of guys. I'm kind of on the fence with that. Like Portland, they could have took Kevin Durant. It was no reason for them not to take Kevin Durant. Just like everybody keep talking about Houston in 1984. Hakeem was the best player in that draft, and I know Houston already had Ralph Sampson, but they took Hakeem, who was the best player available, which they should have took. Which in retrospective they could have took Charles Barkley, they could have took Michael Jordan, they could have took Sam Bowie, but Hakeem was the best player in the draft. They had the number one pick. Me myself, I would take what I need. There was reports about Greg Oden. There was reports about Greg Oden having bad legs going back to high school. There were several reports out about Greg Oden wasn't going to be a long-term solution. That he wasn't a 10 to 15 year player. They thought maybe at best you could get maybe 6 seasons out of him. And you really didn't get that out of him. Kevin Durant was the best player in that draft by far. I mean, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. It's almost insulting when you think about it, when you see that Kevin Durant went number 2. But Portland did this to themselves. Michael Jordan, they get a pass from Michael Jordan because they already had Clyde the Glide Drexler. So there wasn't no reason to bring in another guard. There was no reason to draft Michael Jordan. They didn't need him. So when I hear people say, "Oh, well, Portland should have took," no, Houston should have took Michael. You know, I know. The funny thing is, a lot of people believe. Well, that's what I'm saying. They overload that, so that was cool. Juwan Howard is what you call a bust. He what you call bust, a guy like that. Derek Coleman, guys like even though Derek Coleman played a significant amount of years, but he didn't live up to expectations. Larry Johnson, you got like 8 to 10 good years out of him, even though he was, you know, the number 1 overall pick. So that's what I'm saying. It just really come down, like, some people go be like, okay, we gonna pick the best player available, but if he don't match with what you already got, it's still you to draft what you need instead of drafting the best player. Hey, back in the Warriors, everybody know the Warriors should have took Kobe Bryant instead of Todd Fuller, but there was reports that Kobe Bryant agent, which Kobe Bryant denied. Kobe Bryant said that was a lie, but there was reports that Kobe Bryant's agent told no team not to draft him because the trade to the Lakers was already in place with Charlotte. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Kobe Bryant said he would have played for whoever would have picked him. So it really comes down to who you believe. That's basically it. It really comes down to who you believe. I believe Kobe Bryant would have played for any team, because Kobe Bryant believed in himself and he believed in his ability. So I believe in retrospective, Kobe Bryant would have played for anybody. That's my story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, I wouldn't tell y'all what to do if you wanted to play GM. If you want to draft if you want to draft the best player available versus drafting what you need, then more power to you. Me, myself, I would draft what I needed. If I say, hey, we need some shooters, we need a point guard, we need a dude that can create his own shot, or we need a dude, we need a 3-point specialist, I'm going to have my scouts, tell me what we need. I'm going to look at the reports and then see who's available, and that's who I'm going to take. Yeah, if I got a center that's already putting up 20 points a game, and then I'll take another center that's averaging 20 points a game in college, what does that say about the center I already got? Because then you got to understand, my center that I already got on the roster that's putting up big numbers, he going to feel some kind of way. So not only do you bring tension to the locker room, you may not have a dude, and then you may try to get this dude to play a position that he's not comfortable with playing. Like, keep in mind, you need to hear this. This is just real talk. The Warriors, okay, they traded Penny. They traded Penny to get Chris Webber. Yeah, and how did that turn out? And remember this. This for you OGs out there. Remember when the Warriors traded Penny Hardaway for Chris Webber? And Don Nelson, that moron. Chris Webber had never really played center, but he tried to make Chris Webber a center when he got to the NBA. Chris Webber did not feel comfortable playing center. And he shouldn't have been made. Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan. And Tim Duncan. But they drafted Penny, they traded for Chris Webber. So Chris Webber goes to Golden State. Okay, Chris Webber, I forgot what he was putting up. I think Chris Webber was putting up 19, 20 a game or something playing center. But he didn't feel comfortable playing center. And he told Don Nelson that. But Don Nelson was one of them dudes. His ego was bigger than what was best for the team. And he didn't want to listen to Chris Webber. They had a falling out. And then a potential championship caliber team in the Golden State Warriors was ruined. Destroyed after one season. Yeah. To be honest with you, the Warriors Don Nelson shouldn't have never traded. Don Nelson shouldn't have traded Mitch Richmond. He shouldn't have broke up Ron TMC. It was too early. But Don Nelson was what you call a mad scientist. He was the epitome of if it ain't if it ain't broke, try to fix it. If it ain't broke, try to make it better. And it backfired. And that's why Don Nelson never won a championship. That's why he never won a championship. Yep, Craig. That's why Don Nelson never had the capability to ever win a championship. Because where he went, he wanted to be the coach and the GM. He went there. What happened was George Karl had coached the team, right? So they hired Don Nelson to be the GM. Now, when Don Nelson first came to Oakland, when he first came to Golden State, he said he just want to be the GM. So what he did was he fired George Karl, and he started coaching the team himself. And I think he fired them right after they had a winning season too. I got to go back in time, but he fired George Karl, and then he sort of snaked him. He fired him, and then he started coaching the team. But yeah, that's why Don Nelson never won anywhere he went. They bring in Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle finally get Dallas over the hump. He get him a championship. Oh, that I can't read that sentence. It's too long. I'm like driving. But yeah. That's what happened. You go back in time, that's what Don Nelson did, man. That's why he was never able to win a championship. He wasn't patient. It was like, okay, if it don't, you know what I'm saying? If it don't work this year, don't just like, okay, well, I want to retweak it. I want to rebuild. I want to do this. I want to do that. That was his problem. And then I'm going to be honest with you. When he came back to coach the Warriors again, when they drafted Stephen Curry, getting rid of him was the best thing they could do for Mark Jackson, because Don Nelson would have been stagnant and he would have been detrimental to the development of Stephen Curry, because Don Nelson also had this thing about he didn't like to give rookies a lot of playing time. And Stephen Curry, his first year there, he wanted what's the face gone. And when the new ownership took over, that was one of their things. They got rid of him. Keep in mind, Don Nelson sabotaged that team, the We Believe team that went to the playoffs, that knocked Dallas out. That was the team Chris Mullin put together, and Don Nelson got jealous of Chris Mullin, and then he went to the ownership and started whining about Chris Mullin. Like, dude was a hater. So, but all right, let me get to some boxing right now. Let me get to boxing. I'm gonna talk Wilder. All right, later, sis. All right, so let me talk boxing. I'm gonna talk Wilder first, then I'm gonna get to Bud. That's the big story brewing, and then I'm gonna get to Canelo. What's up, J-Dog? The homie J-Dog. And I'm gonna get to Canelo fighting another person that nobody gives a rat's ass about, fighting Caleb Smith. And like I said, Canelo looking real weak right about now. Canelo looking real weak these days, and it just gotta be said, man. But let me talk about Wilder. So Wilder did an interview with Brian Custer. Real good interview. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna get upset with the interview Brian Custer did. he was just challenging Deontay Wilder. That's what you're supposed to do. Sometimes you got to ask the tough questions. And Wilder stood, he stood tall. He stood, you know what I'm saying? He stood on the, he stood on the square. He didn't fold. He said, hey, I believe Tyson Fury did this. I believe he did that. And he brought up the points that I've been saying about Tyson Fury. Why does Tyson Fury, who has the shaky past that he has, get the benefit of the doubt? And why are people pretending like this is something that can't be done? They've been cheating in boxing for forever. You just see the epic screw up that Bob Bennett, who works with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, who issued a statement saying, "Oh, it's impossible for Wilder, Wilder to get cheated. Oh, we catch everything. We catch everything. We don't make mistakes. Oh, you don't make mistakes, right? Well, you just made a mistake on Saturday when you couldn't, when you clearly saw that the dude's eye got swollen from punches. Not no damn clash of heads. But you decided to make the fight a no contest when it should have been a technical knockout. So how is it that you guys catch everything? So that just showed you that instantly made Bob Bennett's credibility go out the door. When everybody that clearly see that there was no clash of heads, it should have been a technical knockout. Yeah, they say that. Yeah, but they say they catch everything. KP, they say they catch everything. Well, how come you wasn't smart enough to catch that? Please explain that to me. So that just goes to show you. That just goes to show you when you have you know what I'm saying? These are the type of people that run boxing commissions. This is why you have the stuff going on in boxing that you have. But besides that, Wilder rejected that ridiculous Bridger weight, which is supposed to be from 200, I think, from 200 to 220, which I think is absurd. But they just made it up because they trying to collect more sanction fees. Just absurd. Just absurd. A Bridger weight or bridge weight, whatever you want to call it. Man, that sounds ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. When I say that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my fucking life, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. So you that desperate for sanction fees, you just making up belts. You making up weight divisions. And like Wilder said, I'm a heavyweight, and I'm gonna continue to campaign at heavyweight. I'm just glad that Wilder is gonna eventually get his get back. So that's cool. All right, so let me get to the big elephant in the room. And see, once again, I have to do this because I'll be catching little shit that people be saying. But I'm gonna address that and I'm gonna respond to it and I'm gonna talk about this little situation. Now, as you guys know, Bob Arum said something that was just appalling in regards to Bud, saying that Bud need to advertise himself more. He need to do a better job promoting himself. Blah blah blah. Nah, it ain't legitimate. I'm not acknowledging no Bridger weight. The title alone sounds absurd. So no, I'm not acknowledging that belt. It's a fake belt, and I wouldn't even acknowledge that damn belt. But yeah, okay. So now Bob Arum was talking all this stuff. So now Bob Arum not only had, Bud on his helmet, Bud's sister came out, ethered him. Eddie Hearn, and then Dana White. At the end of the day, Bob need to just let Bud go. He need to let Bud go, man. Because at the end of the day, it's just time. Now, at the end of the day, like I told y'all before, it ain't my job to tell people what promotional company to go to, because I don't want to be involved in that kind of stuff. That's Bud's decision. But at the end of the day, I do feel he need to leave. I do feel he need to leave. That's my own personal opinion. If you got a dude that said he lost money on you and all this kind of stuff, then once again, let him go. But then on the flip side, as far as him joining the PBC, like I said, I'm still not letting Al Haymon off the hook. I'm not giving Al Haymon a pass, because now you got these niggas that feel like they could have a "I told you so," you know what I'm saying? Pop my collar party, say, "Oh, we told you about Bud and all this." It still don't matter due to the fact that he still got frozen out. You can't condone that shit. He got frozen out by a black man. So, like I said before, I'm not letting people get away with that. I'm not letting people get away with that. It still don't take away the fact that Bob, you know, did, you know what I'm saying? Bob did some fucked up shit to Bud, but then so did Al Haymon. Because I went to that fight when they act like Bud didn't even exist. When I went to Wilder Fury 1, they gonna show everybody except Bud who was at the fight on the Jumbotron, but they gonna show Triple G. But you got Bud, a black fighter. But see, niggas don't want to talk about that though. Niggas don't want to talk about that though, because they too busy still sucking up to Al Haymon, who put together that god awful undercard for Errol Spence. Who ain't got no brothers fighting on that undercard. But then people don't want to talk about that because they too busy having their head up Al Haymon's ass. I'm not giving Al Haymon a pass. He got all them black fighters. He couldn't put no brothers on the card, but then he got an all Mexican card except for the main event. This is why some of these people believe that there ain't no audience for watching two black fighters fight, which is absurd, because most of the biggest fights in history been between black fighters. I'm just keeping it a buck. So I don't know why people, like, you know what I'm saying? But people so busy wanting to talk about Bob Arum, but then they don't want to talk about Al Haymon. Like I said, I'm holding both of them accountable. I'm holding Bob Arum accountable for how he treated Bud and how he put Bud on the back burner for Lomachenko, a fighter that nobody gave a rat's ass about. Nobody cares about Lomachenko. Nope, they never did. Now, how much money you lost on Lomachenko when you put him at the Staples Center? When you put him at the Staples Center, when you closed the whole upper deck. You closed that whole upper deck down. And then probably most of the tickets you comped them. You gave them to people. Or you let people in at the door. That's another thing they do. They don't want to tell you. If they don't have enough tickets bought, they'll either give you tickets or they'll let you in at the door. But like I said, nobody don't want to bring that up though. Nobody don't want to bring that up. He shouldn't have been pushing Lomachenko to the front. And then you had all these morons at ESPN trying to sell us on the notion that Lomachenko was must-see TV, and nobody gave a rat's ass about Lomachenko. When Lomachenko fought Adam Carolla at the Staples Center, I went to that fight because I covered that fight. It was this, I covered that fight. Nobody came to that fight. Nobody. They closed the whole upper deck. See, I know this boxing stuff. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to just tell the truth. This real talk. I mean, this was 3 years ago anyway. When Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, the second fight, they didn't sell that many tickets. They was giving away tickets and they was just letting people come in. They was letting people come in, telling them to find a seat. I had some good seats, like in the second upper deck. They tried to upgrade me. They told me I could go to the lower level. They told me to just walk down there. And I said, nah, I got good seats where I'm at now. I'm good. So they do that. Sometimes, if it ain't enough people in attendance, they'll upgrade you or they'll tell you to go fill in the empty seats on the floor seats, or the lower level. Man, who y'all talking to, man? Who y'all talking to, man? You think I don't know this stuff? See, that's what they don't tell you. Yeah, that's what they don't tell you. But yeah, nah, this ain't no jump on the bandwagon anyway. I'm like, this ain't no, now you want to talk about Bob Arum. Now, here's the thing. Bob Arum put himself in a position to get talked about. We all knew what he was doing. But we just wanted to wait till Bob Arum sucked himself in a hole to where he couldn't get out of. And by him saying that he losing money, now we can say, okay, yeah, Bob. But at the end of the day, while people sitting up here trying to, pat themselves on the back, like this is like a revelation, but they still giving Al Heyman a pass, nah. Like I said, I call it like how I see it. We should hold Al Heyman more accountable due to the fact, hey, but like I said, I get it. I get it with Al Heyman. I get it. Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to say. If enough people don't come, they will upgrade you. They will tell you, they will say, look, I'll give you an example. Me and my brother, this was like a long time ago. This was in San Francisco when Floyd Mayweather fought at the Bill Graham Auditorium. It's like on the outskirts of downtown San Francisco. It's over there it's not too far from the Tenderloin. So we had got free tickets anyway. A radio station that gave me and my brother like 4 tickets. Okay, they gave us like 4 tickets. Okay, so we get there, we get to the Bill Graham Auditorium. This is when Floyd fought what's his name? Jose Jose something. Stopped him. When we got up in there, they told us to go to the floor. We were supposed to be in the upper deck. They told us to go to the floor. Yeah. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's on the Bill Graham Auditorium. It's like on the outskirts. It's on the outskirts of downtown San Francisco. It's not too far from the Bank of America building. But yeah, we saw Floyd fight there. You can look it up on Wikipedia. I forgot what the dude's name. Oh, I think his name was Jose Chavez or something like that. So they told us, well, y'all could go to the floor. Okay. That was all she wrote. That's like, so you know what I'm saying? That's when Floyd was like I ain't gonna say that's when he was a nobody, but that's when he was an up and coming fighter. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do that. They do that kind of stuff, and that's what I'm saying. Getting back to Lomachenko. So how much? So and Bob Arum promoted that fight too, because he was Floyd's promoter at the time. So that once again, okay. Why isn't Bob Arum bitching about how much money he loses off Lomachenko? And he still don't get it about Lomachenko. He still don't get it. Nobody, like I keep saying, nobody don't care about Lomachenko. They don't. So like I said before, I'm not sitting up here finna praise like Al the shit that he did. I'm not letting either one of them slide. Cause like I said before, put some brothers on these damn undercards, man. You know, it don't have to be the Fiesta undercard when Errol's. It kind of, like I said, it kind of come across as fraudulent. It's basically admitting to what certain people think. Oh, well, Mexicans are the ones that's selling the fight. And that's not true. I call bullshit on that, but you know, you'll have people thinking it. So, you know, I just call it, like I said, man, I'll call it right down the middle, man. I'll be worried about that shit. But now everybody having the I told you so, the I told you so extravaganza with Bob Arum. Like, you didn't tell me so, because I already knew what he was doing. But he wasn't doing. He was doing the same thing. He was doing the same thing that Al Heyman is doing now, where he want to make mostly in-house fights. Basically, if you ain't signed to the PBC, you not more than likely gonna get a big fight. Sorry if you know, Al Heyman apologists don't like to hear what I'm saying, but I'm just like Tupac say, like Snoop said on, you know, I'm only being real. I thought people wanted to hear the truth. That's all I'm saying. I thought people wanted to hear the truth. I thought that's what we in the business of doing, is telling the truth. Of course, I'm looking out for the brothers. I'm looking out for the brothers by calling Al Heyman out by not putting no brothers on these undercards. And I'm looking out for the brother in Terrence Crawford by saying, hey, Terrence, hey, the pebble been snatched out the hand. The pebble been hey, it's like Kung Fu. The pebble been snatched out the hand. It's time to go, brother. It's time to go, bud. You've been disrespected. Yeah, because that's the thing. Nobody don't want to say this, man. I told you, I'm not these other dudes on here. I'm not these other dudes on here that sit up here and turn a blind eye to certain things. Everybody got to be held accountable. Everybody keeps saying he need to fight Danny Garcia. Well, like I said, Al Heyman wouldn't let him have. He wouldn't let Bud have Danny Garcia or the other dudes because he didn't want to do business with Bob Arum because of what Bob Arum had did to him. Nah, Dreezy. Errol Spence starting to turn into a diva before our eyes. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna talk about that right quick. I'm gonna talk about that, Dreezy, since you I know you, hey, I'm saying this with tug and teak. Drizzy, you forced my hand. I was gonna leave this alone, but you forced my hand. You know, Errol Spence need to cut the shit though. I know people favor him and like him and stuff, and that's cool, but Errol Spence need to cut the shit because he start all this stuff about I'll give you 60-40 because you know I'm a bigger star. Well, Buzz TV ratings say he just as big as Errol Spence. And I wish people would stop pretending like Errol Spence did fought world beaters. You know what I'm saying? All his pay-per-views been against dudes with losses, except for Mikey Garcia. Sean Porter already got like 3 losses. Even though Sean Porter is a durable fighter, Danny Garcia got like two or 3 losses. Danny Garcia's lost. So let's not make it look like, you know what I'm saying, Errol is fighting like, you know what I'm saying, like fighting the cream of the crop. He fighting good dudes. I mean, but let's just stop it. Because like I said, Bud has stopped everybody. Like I said, Jeff Horn was a good fight when he was calling the PBC fighters out, but then when Bud got a hold of him, all of a sudden it changed. Like I said, you know, you got to understand when people putting out certain, you know what I'm saying, putting out certain images of a person where they got an agenda where they basically trying to like smear this dude's name, and then you got a whole bunch of people that listen to you. Well, of course, people go be feeling some kind of way. But I'm telling y'all, don't get caught up in that Bud shit. But yeah, Errol Spence need to like negotiate behind the scenes. Let that 60-40 stuff get negotiated behind the scenes. Because you talking like, I mean, come on, Errol. I mean, you undefeated, yeah, but Bud is undefeated too. But for real, man, let's not make it look like you didn't fought world beaters yourself. Mikey Garcia was the only undefeated fighter that you fought on pay-per-view, and he had came up from, That was his first fight at 147. And it wasn't for a title. And let's keep it 100. It wasn't for a title, but you said you was going after all the belts. All this shit is with Manny Pacquiao is just basically a chase for negotiation rights. If Bud get the fight, he got 2 belts, then he could ask for more in negotiations. If Errol Spence get Manny Pacquiao and beat him, he got 3 belts. So then here comes the, I got this amount of belts versus your amount of belts. So that's all what this is really all about. This is what these guys won't tell you. This is what they're not gonna tell you. This is what they don't want you to know. This is what this is all about. This is why Manny Pacquiao is so important to Bud or Errol Spence. Yeah, but the funny part about it is it's gonna be so funny when Manny Pacquiao turned around and fight Mikey Garcia and then fight Conor McGregor. Because I think Manny Pacquiao might put the screws to Al Heyman. I'm just telling y'all that, so just be prepared. Because Al, he probably felt like, okay, well, if I come to the PBC, I might could get that rematch with Floyd. And now that it looked like that ain't gonna happen, okay, now he might be like, okay, well, I'm gonna just take the Mikey Garcia fight and then fight Conor McGregor and then call it a day. So a lot of stuff is at stake right now. This is why I keep telling you, Manny Pacquiao is the key. Whoever can get to him first. I don't think Manny himself wants to fight neither one of them at this stage in his career. And I'm okay with that, as long as Manny Pacquiao gives up that belt. Now, if he gives up that belt, then you might could see Bud campaign for an eliminator and try to see could he get that belt. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ugas is the regular champion and Manny is the super champion. Damn near like a franchise champion, but it's an actual belt. I gotta look and see. But yeah, this is the fuckery that's like what's going on. This is the truth. You getting the truth from me. Like I said, I don't have no horse in the race, but I'm telling you what's going on. So everybody can have a clear picture of what people is trying to do. Absolutely. Manny, I keep telling you guys that Keith Thurman fight took a lot out of Manny Pacquiao. I don't think Manny Pacquiao want to do that anymore. Yeah, exactly. Everybody ignoring the fact that Errol Spence said he wanted to take the easy route first. But then, like I said, a lot of these dudes got their heads so far up Al Heyman and Errol Spence's ass to where they don't want to see what he said. And I heard what he said. He told Bud right to his face. And then he turned around and did it. And this is what I keep saying. Errol Spence wasn't too keen on going for undisputed that much, because if that's the case, he wouldn't have fought Mikey Garcia. He fought Mikey Garcia because of his name and because he was Mexican, and he knew that a lot of naive Mexicans was gonna buy into that fight, boast up his stature, his pay-per-view numbers, and make it seem like he got that much drawing power, when to a certain degree it was them. Because sometimes Mexican fight fans, they let logic get in the way of, you know what I'm saying, common sense. Was before you. Nobody thought that Mikey Garcia had a chance. Nobody and they mama thought Mikey Garcia had a chance versus Errol Spence, except Mexicans. Some of them. Look, I'm not stupid. I'm a brother, but at the end of the day, I know if there's a brother that's gonna fight a Mexican that I know he has no chance of winning, I'm gonna just keep it 100. Real talk. I may want him to win because he's a brother, but I'm not gonna look. We knew James Kirkland wasn't gonna beat Canelo. Okay, so I'm just keeping it a buck. And speaking of, what's up? And speaking of Canelo, because I gotta call this lift, I'm gonna end it like this. Canelo is further proving that he ain't what he say he is. Because that Al Heyman stuff, it was a cap. It was a cap. He wasn't going to the PBC. How you gonna leave and become a restricted free agent, unrestricted promotional free agent, but you turn around and take your ass right back to the zone? And then, like I said, he knew fighting. He didn't duck. Caleb Plant did not duck Canelo. Caleb Plant will beat the living shit out of Canelo. But that's what Canelo do. He throw these names out there to make you think that he chasing greatness, but he looking for easier fights too. He looking for easier fights too. Well, Pratt, you got a point. You don't know what's gonna happen. All I'm saying is, tune in. I mean, why are we giving Canelo a pass when we want everybody else in their mama to fight? Like, nobody cares about Caleb Smith. Demetrius Andrade been there for the past couple of years. You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight Charlo. You don't want to fight neither Charlo. Canelo go get his ass beat if he fight Caleb Plant. Yeah, and that's another thing. Caleb Plant ain't selling this belt, and he ain't selling his own neither. Canelo knew he wasn't gonna be able to handicap Caleb Plant by trying to weight pimp and rehydrate pimp Caleb Plant. Keep in mind, Caleb Plant is a white boy, so you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, he's still a white boy, so he gonna have you know what I'm saying. He looking at it like this. Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to exercise my white privilege. You ain't finna, I'm an up-and-coming star. You ain't finna handicap me, motherfucker. Real talk. But, like I said, nobody, like I said, that fight with Sergey Kopylov was fixed. It was fixed. You just got to use common sense. But anyway, I'll be back when I get settled in the airport.